I think it's
That's good. It's good. All right,
hi, we're back.
Take 3.
This is the Unnamed podcast.
Episode 8.
If you're
Wow, look at me. Episode 8.
all
right.
If you're new, hi.
Welcome.
If you've been here since the first episode, we're
Hi,
sorry.
Tia.
I was going to apologize. This is our apology to everybody who's been here since the first episode.
Remember we tried doing an apology every video and it just got
I know it was funny, but
it was funny for the first
wait, do we have to apologize?
No, we had to apologize like the second or third time.
No, I know, but like, did we say anything in the last episode? Recap. Episode 7. I think we behaved pretty well, even though we were like kind of
behaved like we're children.
Well, we were
buzzed. Yeah, I forgot about that. We were on that juice.
And now we're on.
Well, this is
different
soda.
kind of. This is coffee.
Yeah, I already had coffee, and I just didn't want to get on camera without a cup, so I'm like, let me just put some ginger ale or something. So,
Christopher Wallace?
Yeah, let's start with Christopher Wallace because I feel like that was some gang
Christopher
shit
Wallace
right
is like on another level right now.
He was cool.
Well, the news is Christopher Wallace, if you haven't heard, he was a veteran reporter he is a veteran reporter from Fox News.
Yeah, I think he worked there. Let me see. He worked at Fox for 18 years, I think.
18 years. And I remember, obviously, I mean, we all know at this point, if you don't know, Fox News is going through some crazy ass things by now. I don't know where you've been, but Fox News is completely off the rails. But when Christopher Wallace was there, and I would see him, he would mediate the debates, the presidential debates and stuff like that. I would always, when I would like somehow find myself in Fox News, I watch it every day. But no, Christopher Wallace was the only sensible voice in the program. He would do interviews.
They called him hard middle.
But yeah, he would do interviews and it didn't seem biased.
Yeah, because he would ask really tough questions, like no matter who you were, mm-hmm. Democrat or Democrat or Republican, he asked the really hard questions. I feel like that's true journalism. Like, fuck what you are. Like,
yeah. And
let me get to the truth. Period.
And that's what's happening in Fox News. That I don't know who the CEO of Fox News is, but they're all the investors of Fox News are backing this Tucker Carlson.
Oh my God! Yeah.
To the death. Like, I don't know. Like they're placing all their bets on this. Basically, the Fox News superstar right now.
Yeah, Fox News CEO Suzanne Scott.
Oh wow! Well, she's, I guess, she doesn't mind the fact that all of her real journalists from Fox News are quitting.
Yeah.
Because I think Christopher Wallace, I think, is like the 4th actual journalist quitting from the Fox News. And to make matters more interesting,
do you mind?
He jumped. Oh no, yeah, it's okay. Is this weed?
No, it's incense.
Are we like Joe Rogan?
Yeah, we're like, what?
Have you ever seen Joe Rogan where they smoke and they're like, smoke weed and they're like talking?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh. Well, anyway, to make matters worse, he jumped into CNN. It's like the Crips and the Bloods, you know?
It really is. I feel that. And the fact that he switched sides like that, like within hours, like obviously they had to set that up, but like, and that was gang.
It's like a double punch, because first he quit, and then it's revealed that he not only quit, but he's now joining the competitors, CNN, which is pretty some really gangster kind of thing.
Yeah. Is he getting his own network? I mean, his own show, or what is it like?
CNN Plus is something CNN is gonna do by 2022 or 2021. I mean, 2021.
Yeah.
I think next year. Yeah. It's this new streaming service, and Christopher Wallace is gonna have his own show and stuff like that.
But I saw him with in one of his interviews. I mean, Christopher Wallace don't fuck around. So I don't always agree with.
I think I respect him more now that he was able to do this. Like, this is just something respectful when you admit, hey, I'm in a wrong place, or we're wrong. Let me get out of here, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like CNN also is a perfect news station.
Yeah, because sometimes they reach. I have seen headlines where it's like, oh no.
I never knew, well, I didn't know CNN was biased, but I never saw it until when I saw Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden competing for the presidency. That's when I would turn on CNN and it would just be a flattering piece for Biden, flattering piece for Biden. For Bernie, it was like not, they clearly made a decision who they wanted to be president. And that's when I was like, wow, CNN could be oftentimes as biased as Fox News.
Yeah.
And we saw that even before with Hillary, like they were completely backing Hillary, right?
But I think they back whoever the most likely candidate is.
And that's the problem with media today. I think we shouldn't just get your news from CNN. Don't just get your news from Fox News. Go to all the medias, Reuters, DW, Bloomberg, and somehow along the way you'll construct the actual truth from all these medias. Don't just accept one truth, right?
Are you a fan of local news?
Yeah, well, anyway, I mean, I watch. I don't have bias when it comes to media.
Yeah.
Even Fox News, I don't watch it, but I listen to what they're saying because
I just think
I want to see what they're talking about too.
Yeah, because the large networks, they talk about the important stuff, the federal stuff, but I think that it's the local news. It's the same thing with like voting in politics. Like I feel like that knowing what's going on locally is just as important as knowing what's going on nationally. Also, I don't know, it's Houston, so locally I would always watch Fox 26, or ABC 13. Those are the two networks that I would watch, like local news, like Melissa Wilson. You know her?
No, I don't know.
Oh man, Melissa Wilson is like fucking fly. Anyways, I don't know.
No, but you're right.
I feel like everybody knows who Melissa Wilson is.
I think that's something that also happens to me, that I focus too much on what's going on in the bigger picture, that I forget what's going on in front of me.
Yeah.
And I think that happens. We do ignore the local news, and sometimes the things that we can actually change are right in front of us. And how are we going to change where we are if we're focusing on somewhere where we're not even present, right? But I guess, again, don't just follow anything blindly. If you follow Fox News, don't follow it blindly. If you follow CNN News, don't follow it blindly. Get a perspective from each media company, and somehow you arrive something that's closer to the truth. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to see Christopher Wallace on the streaming service.
I know, I might actually start watching more of him.
I respect him more from now, though.
That was gang shit. I keep saying that, but that was gang shit right there.
Yeah.
What about Vicente?
Oh, yeah.
He has passed.
He unfortunately has passed away.
Vicente, I feel he's an icon, but like he's like that grandpa that is super inappropriate.
Yeah, and comes from another era where machismo was very prevalent, sexism, homophobia.
Yeah.
So even though, like you said, he's the icon, he's a big cultural marker in our culture.
He's also somebody's embarrassing relative that you gotta be like, oh, sorry, my uncle's kind of racist.
We've talked about this before, where we have very talented artists. Like Vicente was very talented as an actor and also as a singer, musician. But when it comes to artists and singers, sometimes the lines blur into straight up worshiping. And we forget that these are actual human beings, and like any actual human being,
especially
Vicente
with icons,
was flawed.
Especially with lifelong icons.
Vicente was flawed. I mean,
he was.
That quote that's resurfacing now with more like being catapulted now that he's passed away is that when he was going to accept that donation from organ donor, he didn't want to accept the organ donor because he was a man, and he was saying that, well, I don't know if that man was either a drug addict or a homosexual, I don't want that inside of me. And also his, along the lines that he didn't want to sleep with his wife knowing that another man's organ was, with him. That's just the mentality.
He said that?
Yeah. That's just the mentality that, like you said, people from that era had. And it's just how dare you put us in the same sentence? Well, even drug addicts, we shouldn't see them so low because, yeah, I mean, there's people make unwise decisions. Not
and addiction's fucking hard.
Yeah, addiction's horrible, but still, like he said it with such a condescending. We could tell his stance with
both.
With both, and it's like those memes. Oh, hey, fellas, is it gay if you accept another man's organ? Like it's kind of like that meme,
Yeah.
He didn't want to accept it because he's like, oh, well, that's another man's organ. I'm gonna sleep with my wife. But to his defense, he did apologize later on.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he apologized and he said that. He went on a whole speech about how he apologized to the community. And his reason was that supposedly he was sedated under the time and he didn't know what he was talking about. Which, I mean, he's trying, he was trying.
He tried.
Yeah, he tried. And I think that counts, that counts. And he apologized.
And we're not bashing him or anything. I mean.
Well, no, I am.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, well, it's because.
I mean, how can you bash him? He's everything.
I'm telling you, Vicente Fernandez wasn't perfect.
Yeah. He was an icon, but he was a human. And
also, there's this writer who followed his life. Her name is Olga something, and she wrote a book about his life. And she wrote how he was numerous times cheating on his wife, and also to the point where he didn't want her to get educated. He didn't allow her to get educated. It just comes from that machismo, the mentality. And countless also in I think this year, I think it was this year, I'm not sure, but a singer named Lupita Castro, and she's alleging that he groped her in like a sexual assault kind of way? Well, not assault.
Yeah, if you grope, that's
sexual
assault because you actually touch the person.
So, I mean, again, icon. Maybe at the end of the day, he was a good person. Well, I don't know.
See, you know what I feel? I feel there's a difference between speaking and acting. So, he said a lot of homophobic things, but again, no, it's still terrible.
Yeah.
Period. But I like you saying that. But I feel like there's a difference between spreading homophobic ideas and actually physically gay bashing.
Because that's what happens with Vicente Fernandez comes from that era where machismo.
You think he ever did? He probably did.
What?
Well, that's speculation. I mean, not just say shit like that, but.
Well, Vicente, like I said, he comes from that era where machismo was very prevalent, homophobia, and I feel when we're praising him, we're romanticizing that era. We're romanticizing that aspect of machismo and homophobia.
Yeah.
So we gotta watch out, romanticize what's worth romanticizing.
His work.
Mexican pride, our pride for our roots, his wonderful music, right? His so passionate with the lyrics. But
I think we talked about this too, where how the hell do we separate the artist from the work?
Well, you can. You just gotta catch yourself. Be careful not to again romanticize those aspects. And worship him like if he's again a Mexican god. But for
but the fact that and just pulling it back to what we were saying earlier, there's also a difference between sexual harassment and sexual assault.
Oh.
Yeah. Did he do that? Did they ever prove that he did that?
I'm not sure. I just read that, she did a video explaining the situation and why would she lie, right?
Yeah, why would she? Yeah.
It's not something I'm sure what happens a lot with victims like this is they start receiving death threats, they start receiving so much bad light. Who's gonna put up with that just because,
Yeah.
Well, but regardless, rest in peace, Vicente Fernandez. We're going to take a shot.
Let's go ahead and take a shot. It is 1:36 in the afternoon.
We did kind of bash him, so out of respect, he's like an icon.
So we don't have tequila because we're not big drinkers in this house. We only have Malibu rum. So it's a very different region than Mexico.
We're already like, instead of respecting him, we're like disrespecting him.
Yeah, we are. That's all we got though. I'm not gonna get tequila for fucking Monday afternoon. Let's have a little bit. Have a whole
2 shots of vodka.
Is that enough for you?
That's
plenty. Oh wait!
Oh,
I thought you were gonna drink it already.
so I'm just making an excuse to drink, right? This is not an After Dark episode.
Okay, to Vicente.
To Vicente, rest in peace.
To his work and to his life.
To
Media
Mexico.
Music now.
That was so stupid.
It's too early for this. Alright, go. Cheers. Here we go.
I don't know what. I already knew it.
Okay, well, I'm such a baby when it comes to this.
Wow.
Ugh.
With the coffee?
Well, I had ginger ale something. Oh, that wasn't even that
I
bad.
don't want to sponsor.
It wasn't that bad. Let's have another now.
Alright. Well, yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Alright. And now, oh, what else were we talking about today? There's that other thing.
Oh,
we were
Power of
going to
the
touch
Dog?
on Power of the Dog, dude.
So if you haven't watched, it's a Netflix movie.
That movie was good.
It's getting a lot of Oscar buzz.
It is. Oh, you know what? Let me bring some stuff up that we could just have some info. But Power of the Dog, when did we watch that? Like last week?
Yeah, I think it was last week.
Well, I watched it last week. You watched it like way before me. I think as soon as it came out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not as soon as it came out, but kind of around there. Benedict.
Oh, yeah. Nominated for 10 Critics' Choice Awards.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch. Let me see who else is on it.
Cucumber.
Cumberbatch.
And
Kirsten Dunst, dude.
Kristen Dunst.
I forgot.
Mary
Yeah,
Jane
Jesse
from
Plemons.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And the new
I know
actor-
her as Torrance.
The new actor coming up, his name is, what?
Cody Smith McPhee.
He's another,
Jesse Plemons. He
Rising
makes
star.
good movies. Jesse Plemons is a good actor. I like his movies. I don't think he's ever been in a movie that I don't
So
like.
spoilers alert. Spoilers alert. Spoiler alert. What do you think? What do you think about this movie? Let's analyze
I thought it had a ton of fun little Easter eggs that when you watch it a second time around.
Oh, you watched the second
my
time
god!
around?
No, but when I'm excited for when I do because now that I know the end.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And because we would talk about it on the phone, like we would go over and we're like all the stuff that we missed.
I didn't
and
notice that. Yeah.
every few minutes we would catch like, oh, and this happened. Like for me, the big thing was when he mentioned his dad as saying that his dad wished that he were nicer. And that was kind of like a little cool. Because that made no sense. I was like, what? That doesn't even make sense. His character is so nice. What do you mean? Like,
Yeah, like the whole premise is a single mom with this boy who looks very, like inexperienced, innocent. He comes to live with Benedict Cumberbatch, right? Who's all rough and like very violent, and so this movie makes you think that he's in danger, right? That he's the mom and the boy is in danger from this character.
Well, I got closeted vibes straight from the beginning. I got closeted vibes from Benedict Cumberbatch's character. What's his name?
He's
Phil.
He's what they would call a closet monster.
Closet
very,
monster.
Very violent, but also gay and repressed. And so, yeah, the whole movie is like, oh my God, is he going to do something to the boy? But spoiler
I
alert,
thought that. Like,
it
kill
gets
him.
completely flipped, and we figure out that the boy was the actual villain the whole time, the dangerous one. And they give you, like you said, Easter eggs where he kills a rabbit.
And anytime, I didn't listen to it this time because anytime a film shows somebody killing an animal easily,
it's something
psycho,
something
like
something,
crazy. That's
it
like
involves
a rule. That's like a rule in film, and I ignored it this time.
Also in just like
well,
real
in
world,
any story, yeah. Well, in real world,
like if
real
somebody
world.
is able to kill an animal, just doesn't necessarily mean you're a sociopath or a psychopath, but there is a certain coldness that's required for you to do it as the way he did it, where it's very mechanical, and then you kind of, as the movie progresses, you're like, oh, well, I don't think this boy is actually all that innocent.
Yeah.
But it makes you follow him and want to protect him. But the whole time, I love the ending because it's like you've been wanting to protect a evil person.
Did we ever talk about the rope?
Oh, that's
I felt like the rope was symbolism for the fact that he killed his dad.
With the rope?
The rope. Okay, so check it out. So his dad hung himself, and he was the one who found his dad.
Oh, true.
And his dad wanted him to be a nicer person. True. So I'm thinking that maybe something happened where, and I gotta watch it a second time, but I think he killed his dad because I think he did. The fact that, and I think that the film wanted to give that away when the rope is what Phil left behind for him.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, I don't know. I just thought that.
But it was very thought out. Like he planned it. You know, that he was going to use the rope. He manipulated the character that we thought was the most dangerous one. Mm-hmm. So that just shows how actually in control he was the whole time.
And can we talk about the scene where they share the cigarette smoke?
Oh,
and his character just suddenly shifted from like, you know, sweet and cute to he was the one in control because the way he just lit up and gave it to him. And Phil kind of looked scared, didn't he?
It just shows how much in control he was.
And how great the acting was because Phil didn't really, Cumberbatch didn't really do much, but from the way that he made his face and his movements, you kind of see how his character was like taken back.
Like, who are you? You know, like,
and who was the other guy? McPhee or something like that. I don't know. But the young character, the young boy, he was like, just I don't know. He had a coolness.
Yeah, like it's like
you just see it, and that's why acting is such a.
In that scene, like the character finally took away his mask and he revealed who he really was.
Mm-hmm. But you think they did it?
What, sex?
Yeah.
No, I think
it was insinuated.
Cumberbatch. No, I think I still believe that he didn't see him as a lover. Like he wasn't attracted to the boy. He was more like seeing the boy was him. You know, because he with the person he was in love with.
Butch.
He was much older too.
What was his name? Oh, you know what? I could fact check.
Yeah, Butch. I don't know something.
Butch.
But he was much older too, and he even tells him, "You remind me of when I was I was your age when I met him." So I think he saw himself in the boy.
Oh, we can't. I don't know, but yeah.
So what do you give it?
I think story. Well, let me think about it because we did talk about the cast, the lack of
representation. It's. So...
I think there was one person of color in that entire movie,
but he was just like naked.
He was just a background character. He's naked. I think that was it.
That was so.
I'm sorry. There were 3 because the 2 didn't.
It's just tokenism.
Yeah, tokenism. But other than that, because I feel like that's very important to touch on, I love the story. I like the story. I like little mysteries because it was a mystery movie that we didn't even realize was a mystery movie.
Yeah.
I would give it like a good 8. Maybe 8.5. Close to a 9, but like I really enjoyed the story. Like and it's beautiful. Like like
Kristen Dunst, her outfits. Yeah. Well, not when she's like going through it, but her outfits when she's like.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the Kirsten Dunst character
with the gloves and everything.
You think she knew? Because I feel like she knew
that he was gonna do it.
That he was crazy.
I still think
that's why she was so
maybe they were both in on it. Because remember, she goes running like, no, I need to sell it. I need to sell the hides
because she knew that he was gonna.
She knew that the only way he was gonna use the boys.
And that's why because I was like, why did he kill Phil? Maybe for his mom.
That's why I was like, why is she so desperate in selling the hide? Because maybe they planned it, and she's like, well, if there's no hide to use to make the rope,
you learn something every time we talk about this movie. I didn't even think of that.
He's gonna use the boys.
That boys.
The infected. The boys.
The boys. No.
But yeah, like
oh my god,
it has a virus, and maybe this was also a critique about COVID.
Dude, we're gonna watch. Wait, is it out already?
Oh, Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up. Is it up yet?
No, it comes out on the 24th.
Okay, so we're gonna watch that for the
next
New Year's
episode.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Because after Christmas you're gonna be out of town. So
yeah, we're gonna have one more episode after this.
And then we'll be
like we would care.
We'll be out for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break.
We'll come back 2022.
Like too much followers.
Oh, dude, but think about it. This one, and then on this episode, we're gonna podcast one more,
and that's it.
That's it for the year.
Wow. Wow. So we gotta make it. We gotta take out more. No.
Wow. I know. I think it's crazy because this was just an idea that you had whenever you got here, and then we just started doing it, and we've been doing it.
Yeah. Well, you had it too. Well, I kind of. Well,
I was just down for it.
Oh, you were just going along with my idea.
Well, yeah, I'm down for it. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I thought honestly it was like.
You know what's funny? We saw almost all of these movies.
Who would have thought?
Except for these two.
8 episodes, right?
What? Oh, yeah, 8 episodes. 9, 10.
And we're gonna end it at 9. Is that an unlucky number?
No, actually, you know what's funny? 9 was my lucky number growing up.
Oh.
I would always end up with the number 9. Like,
wow, so we're ending at the 9th episode this year.
Oh, look at that. That means it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a fucking disaster. The tree burns.
Anyway, you gave it a, what, 8?
Yeah, I gave it like a high 8.
8.5?
Yeah.
I give it a 7.
Why?
There wasn't anything new. This story didn't have to tell anything new about a white family. There's a homosexual in the white family. Brokeback Mountain.
I'm trying to think.
No. I mean, I like the movie. It was good. I give it a 7. But I'm like,
I guess because I don't really watch a lot of movies about family rivalry.
I felt this wasn't like a new story. You know?
Well, I don't think there's ever going to be a new story.
Well, we have minority voices, minority characters. Well, how about this? Like, make a movie out of maybe. Well, this was based on a book, but I want to see maybe what black people were going through at that time. Maybe the same thing, but add those factors to how that was. I mean,
yeah. Every time I think about that, though, it's like. Did we talk about this? Because
not necessarily black, but I mean, maybe the Native Americans that were there in the movie.
Yeah, I feel like we have yet to see a Native American movie.
We see a movie about Native Americans dealing with homosexuality. Like
we have yet to see something like that, because I was thinking about Dances with Wolves, like that's a Native American, but it's like, no, it's starring, like, who's that guy? Kevin Costner or whatever? Like, that's the only Native American movie that I know, and it's like, it's starring a white guy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, from this, like, I don't know, I always see, what is this movie telling us that we don't know?
But but back to what you were saying earlier, every time I think about how important it is to portray movies like with black history, black stories, I always think, like, imagine the actors who are tired of playing slave roles. What is it, like, just like the typical, the negative stereotypical.
Oh yeah, like a suffering.
Like, I'm sure that actors are tired of portraying that over and over again, because it's like, I don't know. I understand what you're saying. But I like the idea of a fresh movie for black people, for everybody. Native American. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like I'm not saying like, oh, let's do slavery.
I know.
I want to like hear some other voices out.
I want a fresh story from the perspective of a person of color, but a fresh story, Yeah,
like something we haven't heard before. Unfortunately, The Power of the Dog, it's a good movie.
But it's more of the same.
Like, is this a trailblazer? No. So 7.
I said it earlier. I don't watch many movies about sibling rivalry like that.
Oh.
So I did kind of like that. Yeah. All right.
How long have we been? Wow.
What, like 20 minutes?
Yeah.
So holidays are coming up.
Oh.
Have you done your shopping yet or no?
No, I was gonna do that today, actually, maybe.
I have Secret Santa coming up at work, and it's like, I just started there. I've only been there like 1 week. What the fuck am I gonna do?
What the hell?
Do you like Secret Santa?
No, I hate it.
I
don't hate it, but I
kind of like it.
Any type of gift giving, it stresses me out, because I'm like, would they like it? Would they won't? Does this seem like I didn't even try? Like,
I put my heart into it. I put my heart into it, but it's like, because Secret Santa, it's like those, before knowing about the Secret Santa, you weren't expecting gifts from people at work.
Gift in general. Like,
yes, it's a gift you weren't expecting. So, you know what I do for Secret Santa? I give like 2 gifts. I give one, like, okay, the basic, like, maybe they'll like this. But then I also give a gift that I would love to receive. So I give them like a book or something.
Super sucky. I give him a bottle of water. I don't like that. Gotta come visit me. This is something that I would like.
No, like I would give a book or a journal, like things that I'm into, and then I would also give things that I assume they would like.
Sounds very egotistical. Actually.
Oh, okay, sorry. I remember one time I gave a friend, well, cause she had a kid, so I gave like 2 like children's books. I gave her some sunglasses, but really nice sunglasses. A journal, a little journal like with prompts. She probably hated it.
Yeah, who wants to do homework?
No, because we talked about it one time. We were talking about like our lives.
Oh, journals with prompts or what?
Well, we're talking about our life journey and stuff. Yeah, it's a journal like, where am I going? What am I doing with my, like really focusing on well, it was the Michelle Obama Becoming, you know the book? So there was a journal that accompanies it, my Becoming journal.
Oh, well, you see when you say that.
Okay, yeah, because we would talk about our life journeys and stuff. And I was going to give her the book and the journal, but I wanted the book, so I only gave her the journal.
What the journal? I mean, it sounds cool.
Yeah. No, it really did. I saw it. I almost thought about giving both, but I was like, no, I gotta give her something. So.
Is that thunder?
It's thunder.
It's a bad side, whatever you said.
Yeah. Oh, dude, speaking of which, we had the hottest Christmas in how many years? I mean, hottest Christmas, stupid bitch. The hottest December in record in like 20 years. Let me see.
I just realized there was like only 2 days of cold. Well, we live in Texas, so. Yeah, it was just like one day, I think, or 2.
No, but it was like 80 something degrees a couple of days ago.
Do you think it's gonna get colder in January? Like, I feel like January now is a new December.
January and February, it doesn't go away. Yes, I feel that. And you know what? As a kid growing up, I always feel like the cold moves. Like, it moves from the months.
Speaking of weather, the tornado that killed 100 people in the... Oh my god, no, I'm not laughing at that.
You're laughing at my face.
No, it's
because for a moment I was like, well, I don't know if we should talk about that.
Yeah.
And then you bring it up and I'm looking at you.
I know,
because you just bring it up.
Because we talked earlier about this.
Yeah.
I was like,
no, but it is pretty tragic. Let me see. It is pretty tragic.
Where did it happen again?
Michigan, right?
I don't know.
Tornado.
No, that was a shooting. That was a different kind of tornado.
Stop! Deadly tornado devastates parts of Kentucky and other states. Live updates. Oh, this is like now.
Where did it happen?
Live updates. Live.
Where? Kentucky.
Oh my god! Wow.
So a lot of people are also criticizing his Kentucky's senator or governor. Where
one of the tornadoes was on the ground for at least 128 miles.
So this governor or who? Well, I don't know, but they're criticizing him because all this. He kept on voting against getting federal aid for weather disasters. But now that his own state is being attacked by a weather disaster, now he's all for bringing the money in when it comes to federal disasters. And he's being criticized for that. But, wow, a tornado killing 100 people. I feel like this is not surprising a lot of people. Like, when have you heard of, it's pretty rare, a tornado killing 100 people.
I remember during I forgot which hurricane. I want to say it was Ike or Rita, one of them. But Jasper, Texas.
Well, that's a hurricane. I can understand a hurricane, but a fucking tornado?
No, but like what I'm saying is that during that one, nothing really happened here. Like nothing happened. But for whatever reason, specifically in Jasper, they got the strangest like influx of wind. That in Jasper it was like devastation. And everybody else around Jasper and here in Houston were like, Rita wasn't shit. But I want to say it was Rita, but damn. I'm telling you, these tornadoes
it's crazy how all these variables combine to make this deadly phenomenon.
It has to be perfect. The conditions have to be like so specific.
They were saying that because of unprecedented humidity and unprecedented heat, because of climate change, they received this tornado. It just had to be the right variable. And Did
you ever watch that show about I don't know who they are. They're like storm chasers, but these people who like actually photograph and videotape this stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, I never watched the show, but there was a movie about it. No?
There's a Netflix show about it, but yeah, and it's just like how you said, the conditions have to be A1.
But
for them to capture.
Make you think the chances of something like that happening, and it just happens. It's pretty wild, when all the variables combine to make this happen. It's not one in a million, but
I think I have a few.
it's still kind of You do? Shut
I
up.
think I have a few. I'm really fucking hot right now.
Do you have Omicron?
No, they don't have Omarion.
Anyway, well, yeah, rest in peace, many people. Hope they receive all the help they could get.
How do you even deal with that? The fact that, like, even if you survive that, like, your whole house is just fucking destroyed. And I know it's terrible to be materialistic, but, like, that's your home. Like, that's,
and also
where are you gonna go?
The trauma afterwards. Because I bet these people were... Oh, no. I hear that they did get warnings about it.
They did?
Even in the factory where...
Well, you get a warning if your house fucking falls. It's like...
Well, where it really happened, where it killed a lot of... I think it was in a factory. And I believe, I don't know, it's I read it somewhere that they did receive a lot of warnings, but people didn't pay attention to the warnings. They didn't think it was going to happen to them.
Well, that's always the case, though.
So
I feel like a lot of people in Galveston do that.
Tragic shot. Tragic loss.
Okay, yeah. Should
we take another shot for those? For the... Because they... 100 people...
No!
Now we have to do it. Well... Because we took a shot for Vicente Fernandez. What's so special? Well,
can I iconize it? We gotta do for everybody, right?
Yeah, we gotta
do 100 shots for every soul.
Equal treatment. Oh my god. Well, equal treatment. We took a shot. Oh my god.
What?
We're gonna have to take 3 shots.
Why?
Because somebody else died.
Who did? Anne Rice?
Anne Rice. Oh my god. So, okay, first let's take a shot because of...
Dude, this is so stupid.
Okay. No, don't say 100 people died.
It's not stupid. Wait, drinking for it.
I know.
Good morning. I have to go to my mom's house after this.
We have to do it for the one.
Oh, shit.
So we're gonna have to take it up because...
Okay.
No, wait. Let me build it up at least. So unfortunately...
I didn't even eat breakfast.
Anne Rice also died on the same day that Vicente Fernandez died. Anne Rice, if you don't know, she's the writer of The Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah.
Very famous movie became, and she died. She passed away, and she was very. Her books always lean towards the minorities.
Yeah.
Well, the ones I've read of the Interview with the Vampire franchise, you know, her writing was always spoke very inclusive for gay people, for black people, for even trans people. There's a quote coming.
She wrote The Queen of the Damned?
She wrote all those her vampire books are none of those Twilight BS. Like, her books, everybody who hasn't read Anne Rice, and you're looking for a really realistic vampire story, her Vampire Chronicles
she really liked
franchise are very... She does her research. She does her research on ancient civilizations, and she creates this world where vampires have existed when these ancient civilizations. And in the first book, Interview with the Vampire, it deals with New Orleans and the colonization. And I've never saw this until now, but her vampires, you know, a lot of people, when they write about vampire chronicles or anything that involves immortality, they shy away from the actual history. Like, they act like slavery wasn't there. They act like colonialism wasn't there. But
think about that. They were talking about love and forever love.
Yeah, in her books, one of the vampires, I guess both of them, were in charge of a plantation. That was because the vampires were white. And I think the character even says, I didn't agree with doing it, and he didn't understand the system behind it, but it was so easily, the character was so easily able to do this that, of course, this is an anti-hero, so he did it. So I like that she involves realistic history in her vampire novels. So she died, and I again, an ally for the LGBTQ community. And
did you see that?
Wow, Anne Rice is here.
Oh,
who is it? Vicente Fernandez, Anne Rice?
it's one of them.
So we have to take a shot for Anne Rice. All right, the last shot.
The last one, please.
Anne Rice.
I didn't have breakfast.
Wow, so many people died. What the hell?
I did not have breakfast. This is my breakfast. Carlos is gonna be like,
oh my god.
Carlos is gonna be like, where the fuck is all the bathroom?
I know.
Because he really likes mojitos, dude.
Okay, rest in peace to all these unfortunate souls. Vicente Fernandez and Rice, 100 people who died. Now you're kidding. Alright.
Dude, this is the real after dark.
This is a real after dark.
Oh my god,
After
hold
morning?
on, because my stomach is on fire.
No, you
I
take
had
your time.
surgery. I had surgery.
You have
I
your
really
reason.
shouldn't even be drinking.
No, you don't have to take it. That would feel bad. Like,
No.
you don't have to
No,
take
it's
it.
okay. I'll eat something and then I'll go to my mom's house.
You don't have to take it though.
No, I will. Alright, no more, please. It's 2 in the afternoon. On a Monday? What the fuck? On a Monday? Why would you
Music
eat
now.
on Monday afternoon? We don't have jobs.
No, they're
I'm off today.
the semester ended.
Yeah.
Just finished grading and everything.
No more.
I was gonna say, unless somebody dies, then
Unless somebody dies, you have to get over it.
no. Wow, this is very unprecedented. Why are we? All right, whatever.
I don't know.
Okay. Next up, the whole thing about the U.S. Biden's the Summit for Democracy. Did you hear about that?
That was really weird.
It happened so fast. Like nobody even announced that it was happening. Well, it was, but
I didn't even know it happened until you told me about it.
I didn't even know until I woke up, and then I see the headlines: Biden and hosts the first White House Summit for Democracy. And the interesting thing here is that
Wow, it is.
he invited everybody who's pro-democracy except Russia and China. And, well, the Chinese diplomats and Russian diplomats were criticizing this move, saying you're basically creating divisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're creating a tension that
Which is pretty
you're
ironic.
going back to the Cold War tension.
And it's ironic because Biden swears that his administration is about unity. Like we're gonna break that divide that, has been going on the past 4 years. But it's like, this isn't that. Like, even though I have liberal leanings, I really do, but I feel like this is not the move.
I think, look,
What do you think?
my opinion is that it was, I'm not sure, I'm in the neutral side with this move. On one hand, Russia and China, I mean, why, if they're Russia, always gaslighting, China too, always gaslighting. And then the presidents get criticized when they have a weak stance against China and Russia. And now that Biden's finally doing some sort of, backhand slap or,
I know,
take
but
out the white glove and like slap him with the glove.
I know, but I feel like,
and it's like,
okay.
he took a stance. I mean, he's saying you're not invited to this summit for democracy because you're not practicing democracy, especially with the whole China and genocide situation and Russia trying to invade Ukraine. But we'll talk about that later. But as for this, my only problem with this summit for democracy is that it appears a lot like something that's been going on for a long time, whereas the U.S. uses the name of democracy to promote its ideologies.
So you to say that this is an international move, right? Like I feel like internationally this is a good move. Domestically, it's a terrible move.
No, well,
Because I feel like we got our problems like.
Well, no, in the summit they did speak. Kamala came out speaking that we needed to pressure our Congress to do the voting voting protection bills.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they touched on domestic, but what I mean is that it kind of seemed like a propaganda to expand the Western ideals.
I don't think those shots were a good idea, dude. I'm not doing that.
Expand the US ideals. And I'm telling you, we've seen this before where in the name of democracy, the US has invaded countries and like Iraq, and done destruction. So it's kind of like
Vietnam in the 60s.
Yeah, it's kind of triggering when it says, when they're like, oh, we're promoting democracy.
Are you saying it can get dangerous?
That, but it's also, it's bringing back bad memories of what the U.S. has done in the name of democracy. So this summit for democracy, and they're inviting all these little countries into this, all the countries that coincide with this view.
Oh, look at this. Democracy doesn't happen by accident. We have to defend it, fight for it, strengthen it, renew it. President Joe Biden.
So that's my only reluctance with completely following this. I mean,
I feel like pushing, because I feel like democracy and republicanism, those are the two values.
It seems with a good intention, but
internationally, it can come off.
A lot of countries are saying,
insulting.
"Why are you forcing us into believing your
American
ideologies,
American values,
Western ideologies,
Western ideologies."
So that's the problem with this. But when it comes to like that move where
against Russia and China, we're like, "Hey, bitch, this is what we got."
Yeah, like it was like a kind of like a weird flex, like saying like
square up.
We're all like, this is what I can muster in a day.
Yeah.
So if
I can see that. I can see that now. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can.
So that's why
Russia has their thing, China has their thing, and America's like, you know what? Fuck it, we got this. But it's a slippery slope.
People are keeping up, but Russia and China are forming an allegiance. I think.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, they formed an allegiance, and
you want to do another shot? No.
All right, now.
No, I'm really busy right now.
So they're forming an allegiance, and even Putin said Putin.
Did you say that Putin was hot?
He is.
Oh my god!
Even though he's an evil human being.
He's an evil human being.
But anyway,
he'd probably have you killed.
I know. If I was in Russia, he'd probably stone me to death.
Kill me, daddy. No.
Well, I'll take one for the team, man.
Oh man.
But the fuck was that?
Okay.
What came to mind was him and a horse with the
the horse picture with his shirt off. Yes. Shut the fuck up.
Anyway,
you know who's kind of hot? No, I can't think of no, I can't think of anybody who's like a Republican who's hot. Like not a Republican, a politician. That politician who's hot.
No, what the fuck was I gonna say?
We're talking about Russia.
Okay, Russia.
We need to eat after this because I can't go home like this.
Wait.
I need to go to my mom's place.
Wait.
Okay.
Russia and China are forming an allegiance, and the fuck was I gonna say?
So anyways.
No, wait.
Okay. We said something about the slippery slope.
Oh, okay. Where Putin even said that.
Yeah, Putin.
America has what happens with every empire that rises, they create a lot of enemies. And it was kind of like a threat. He's saying that all of those enemies are coming back. I mean, are the ghosts of American violence.
Christmas past or...
Yeah, like America, I mean, there was a New York Times article that just came out where in 2019, there was a secret unit when the U.S. went after ISIS. It killed numerous civilians just on the name of, again, protecting democracy. So what Putin was saying is that on the rise of this empire, you've created a lot of enemies. And unfortunately, all these enemies are coming back to haunt the U.S. And I think he said it as a threat, like he's rallying all these enemies. And that's why this was important.
Do you ever feel like that though? That's
why the Summit for Democracy was important when showing unity in the name
unity
in the name of democracy. So, I mean, I want to believe that it is really in the name of actually protecting liberty, but then that article that just came out 2 weeks ago on the name of democracy, they killed destroying ISIS. They killed a lot of civilians, innocent children, with the drone strikes. So, Russia and China China is being accused of genocide against this Muslim minority.
Dude, that's effed up. And you said, right, you looked all morning for...
We're conducting our own research. But no, because we saw the articles. It's for a fact, everybody's accusing China of genocide. But what we were looking for is actual people from China explaining what's going on with this.
Would you say that China is moving into North Carolina, North Korea territory.
Well,
Where
wait,
they're like suppressing that.
we didn't find any people from China telling us any articles saying what's really happening.
Only American.
I want to know what's happening.
Sources.
Because we hear about all these outside voices, but what about actual Chinese people? What are they saying about the situation? Is this do they agree that there is a genocide going on, or we're the West is taking it out of proportion? All the news outlets, BBC, all these reputable news outlets are saying it is genocide. But I want to hear from the Chinese people. I want to see what they think about it.
And the fact that we're not.
It's troubling.
Yeah.
And Russia invading Ukraine.
I like how we got into the serious topics 3 shots in.
That's what shots are.
I'm struggling really hard to be focused, but
okay,
right. I didn't
Ukraine.
Okay, Ukraine.
So, Ukraine, the territory of Ukraine used to belong to Russia. They still speak Russian to this day. So, what Russia is mad about is that Ukraine wants to join, or is already making the process into joining the NATO, and that's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And what basically this is an agreement between a lot of European countries and the US. They're all united in this. And the Ukraine wants to join. So again, on the surface, it seems like, the NATO, it stands for democracy and stuff. But all these countries are involved in businesses. All these countries are supporting each other with resources.
Mm-hmm. You're giving me a lot of information, okay?
Okay, wait. Well, let me take it slower, okay? So Ukraine wants to join this.
Okay, they want to join NATO.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which means that it's going to join the US and all these European countries, England, Germany. And
all the
wealthiest.
The first world.
Yeah. Western, the ones that adopt Western ideologies.
Yeah, it's very important.
So Russia is saying, no, like Ukraine and Russia are the same thing. They're saying, so they don't want Ukraine to join because they feel it's everything's almost everything negative comes from fear, and this is what's happening. They fear that with Ukraine being part of NATO,
they'll lose that little.
Well, they feel threatened. They feel like because Ukraine is right next to Russia, so they think.
I feel like right now they feel like they have some kind of like threat over them.
Ukraine was the only thing that separated Russia, Ukraine, NATO. But now Ukraine is gonna join NATO, so now Russia feels very threatened. Mm-hmm. So obviously Russia doesn't want that. It's sending troops, but Putin is very famous for gaslighting. He's saying, "Well, I'm not doing anything. I'm just my troops are just training in the Ukraine border." Doesn't mean
I do nothing.
Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm gonna invade.
Yeah.
And then the Ukraine
I'm
president.
not touching you. That's what he's doing. Yeah, that's what he's doing.
And the Ukraine president is basically saying, "Hey, NATO, like US, like there's troops in my border. Like they're gonna."
But why do they? Yeah, I guess.
So it's predicted. Let's see what happens, but.
Let's see if we get involved.
Experts are saying that.
Think that Biden will get involved?
Well, experts are saying that Putin's gonna make a move by January. It's either.
Wait, hold on. Make a move against Ukraine or US? Oh, your hands are sweating.
That was funny. But no, by January, they're gonna make a move whether or not to invade Ukraine. And if they invade Ukraine, it's already an attack against NATO, which NATO is part of the US. So
it's a big dog.
And US.
Again, gang shit.
England, it's a mafia.
It's a mafia, gang shit.
And England, Germany, all these G7, they already threatened Russia with, there will be consequence. Right now, the only threats they're saying is sanctions, economic retaliation.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait until January. The time the clock is ticking. We'll see what happens. But I saw a TikTok.
Our sources are Instagram and TikTok. But go ahead.
I saw a TikTok from this Russian TikToker, and she's saying that I don't know if she's a verifiable source, but she's saying that No, the nobody in Russia wants Russia to invade Ukraine. They don't want a war because that means, death, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing with before. Right now, we talked about all these sites: U.S., Russia, China, England, Germany. Before you pick your team, well, because it's that people follow it like if it's a sport. Like, oh, U.S., let's go, or oh, Russia versus U.S. People, this is war. Nobody wins when there's a war. What the fuck is that? Oh my god, Anne Rice is here. Vicente Bernal is here. No, nobody.
Who is it? No, now you gotta tell us who it is.
Well, it's my coworkers. Oh, they're probably watching this. It was I used to teach back in Brazil with Erica and Claudia. If you're watching this, I miss you. My God, the shots, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Just get us.
Anyway, okay.
I'm already pretty.
Before you pick your team, before you even start supporting a war, remember nobody wins when a war is.
Nobody wins a war.
Nobody wins.
Do you
There's
support
death in all places. So before you're over here rooting for your team, whether you're in Germany, whether you're in US, whether you're part of Russia, whether you're part of England, before you start rooting for war, just remember what war means.
So
people are going to die on all corners.
But I'm saying, would you consider yourself a pacifist?
No.
Okay.
Because there's gotta be a point where you gotta have to stand up against injustice, evil, and sometimes, unfortunately, that requires
war.
No, not war.
Well, that's what a pacifist is. Somebody who's against war.
Oh, well, I am against war. I've always been.
I'm saying a pacifist. Wait, let me make sure. Hold on.
Well, pacifist, I think it's any conflict, no?
No, I think it's just
violence?
War. I think it's specifically war. Let me see. A person who believes that war and violence are unjustifiable.
Yeah.
War and violence.
Just remember,
war or violence. So I don't think war is ever justifiable.
Nobody wants it a war.
I just hate the idea of war because it's like,
and it's so sad.
You send so many people to die for the one politician in charge.
That's what I was gonna say.
I fucking hate that.
It's so sad that all these individuals, Putin, Biden,
they don't fight.
They don't fight, and they want to send
families everywhere left without.
They want to send millions of 18-year-olds to their death.
Mm-hmm. And family people with entire
just because they're not willing to talk in a room and settle things out.
And for pride,
you have,
a lot of it is pride.
Putin, Biden, the Chinese.
We're so angry.
Well,
because it's fucking angry.
You have them all sit down, fix this shit before you start a war.
There should be like an international law where it's like war is like fucking.
Well, you know what I always wanted.
So what have you always wanted? We had a. What have you always wanted?
To instead of sending millions of 18-year-olds dying to their deaths, why don't you just have all these leaders fighting in one ring and see who wins?
Oh my god, can you imagine?
What we're saying, we're laughing that Biden would obviously imagine Biden and Putin in a ring, like what would obviously do?
Oh, let's look up Biden shirtless though. We're gonna put that up. Let's put Biden shirtless up.
I'm kind of surprised. He's surprisingly athletic. I imagined him.
Woo!
Biden, like I imagined him way worse.
I don't know. Stimulus package by Joe Biden. Stimulus package. Who thought of that headline?
I know.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I mean, if it came down to, like, instead of sending millions of people to die on your behalf, just you two battle it out. You know, and whoever wins.
Whose idea was it though? Like to have like armies and shit. Like,
imperialism.
I don't know. So, anyways,
well, that was the show.
It was.
Thank you for being here up to episode 8.
3 shots in.
We have one more episode.
And you know what? Why don't we finish off with one more shot?
Okay.
Okay.
I never go against the shot.
Okay, one more. Okay.
Why are we doing this like serious?
I know, I gotta go to my mom's house. Alright, so to episode 8.
Cheers to whoever's been watching.
Yes, all the way to the end. And cheers to...
One more episode for the year.
One more episode.
Be with us for
it's 2021, honestly, like at this point.
Oh, it's 2021.
Oh, we're gonna do shots for the next one too, right?
Yeah, fuck it. It should be like a I mean, it's gonna be a Christmas episode.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a celebratory. So stick with us for episode 9. It's gonna be our Christmas episode, and we'll be back.
Salud. Can you imagine if we hit it and then we break it?
Rest in peace to all the
people,
we talked
everybody.
about. I'm sorry. Oh shit. What was it?
Media
It gets
music
better and
now.
better. Every time.
See you later.
Later.
You wanna? Oh, we're both.
Bye.